I am going to be making a yogurt cake that has orange zest and dark chocolate, and I'm using the yogurt in this particular cake rather than cream or another type of dairy because yogurt really gives a wonderful tang to anything that it's incorporated in. So I'm gonna get started, and the first thing I'm going to do is prepare my pan. When you see that in a recipe, it just means to butter your pan and put a little bit of flour in so that nothing sticks. This is parchment paper, which I'm going to be putting at the bottom. And I'm just going to go ahead and get a little bit of this butter and run it along the inside. Just gonna grab a tiny bit of flour. Tap it all along the inside of the pan. Super easy. Okay. A little bit of parchment paper just goes right in the bottom. Don't use wax paper because the wax will melt and you don't want to eat that. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and zest a couple of oranges, because that's gonna give wonderful, almost bitter orange flavor to this cake. The trick with zesting is that you want to make sure that you don't get all the way down to the white pith, because that's really bitter. What you're looking for are all of the aromatic essential oils that live in the skin. I need about 2 tablespoons for this recipe. I'm going to mix together the dry ingredients. So I need 1.5 cups of just regular all-purpose flour. Okay, got our flour. I have a cup of sugar, a little bit of salt. You always have to have a little salt in your baked goods so that the sweetness is not overly sweet. And if you're looking for the recipe, don't worry, you don't have to write all this down. You can find everything at feastmagazine.com in our recipes section. And just a couple of teaspoons of baking powder. Okay, all mixed up. Now, the wet ingredients. Obviously, we're going to be using yogurt, and I need a cup of that. Yum, I love yogurt. When I was a kid, we lived in Turkey, and that's where I got to know what really good, full-fat, non-sugary yogurt tasted like. And once it became popular here in the States, I was in heaven. I love this stuff. Okay, so we have a cup of full-fat yogurt, Greek if possible, because it has less moisture. Then I'm going to use 1/2 cup of olive oil. You can use a neutral oil if you want, but I'm using olive oil because it's really going to heighten that Mediterranean flavor from the oranges and the yogurt, and it's a wonderful addition to baked goods. So rather than canola or just vegetable oil, give it a try. All right, and a couple of eggs. Because of all the wonderful fat that we have in this cake, it's going to keep really nicely for a few days without drying out. Whisking all of this together. It's nice and smooth, and now I'm going to go ahead and add in all of that orange zest. This cake is easily adapted to whatever flavors you want to include. I am doing chocolate and orange because that's what I like, but you can do lemon, you could do raspberry, you could do vanilla, you could do pretty much anything that you want. Alrighty, so now I'm just going to fold my wet ingredients into my dry ingredients, and then I'm going to add the chocolate. All right, so I am going to go ahead and put my finished batter into my prepared pan. There we go, pretty easy. I'm just gonna put this into a 350-degree oven for roughly 50 minutes. I'm gonna keep my eye on it, and when it's golden and risen, then it's going to be ready to eat. This looks amazing, and it smells incredible. The scent of the orange is really coming through. This is gorgeous, and you can see just how moist the crumb is in this cake, and that is because of the yogurt. All right, I can't wait any longer. I have to give this a taste. The orange flavor has spread throughout the entire batter. The scent is wonderful, but the flavor is even better. And having that dark chocolate, the little hits of it inside of the cake, delicious. So I will be baking cakes with yogurt from here on out. Thanks for joining me in this episode of Feast TV, and I'll see you next time.